All right, it's about 5 after, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. First of all, the reason I wanted to do this in this room specifically was to show y'all the video conferencing system that we have in here. I'm not sure how many of you were aware that this was in here. We've got one in here, we've got one in building 112, then we've got the one that we're video conferencing with right now in Phil Campbell with Sharon and Sherry. I think we are putting another one in here and another one in Phil Campbell probably sometime between now and February-ish, February or March of next year. I don't know if any of you have ever taken a video conference course before or taught one. I've been in several at Auburn and Alabama, and they were both horrible because the video conferencing systems were horrible. So in here you can see they've got the same thing on their end where they can see me, and then on another TV they can see you guys, right? So the same way that we can see them here, and then you can see me up here. The thing I really like about this is we have some built-in default camera settings. So there's a camera back in the back of the room there. And so if you're one that kind of stays at the podium for a while, then you can just leave it on this default desk setting, and the people on the other end are going to see you more zoomed in. And then on the other camera, if somebody has a question, that camera is always on as well. And as soon as a student asks a question, not only can they see it, but this camera zooms in on the person that's talking. So they can see them and they can hear them asking questions. So it's as close as you can get in a video conferencing system to being able to have that face-to-face interaction. If you're teaching something that needs a lot of writing on the board, math, science, stuff like that, if you'll watch this, when I hit this other default, it pans over to the left-hand side of the whiteboard. So, ladies, I don't know if y'all can see this. This would be a good as chance as any to see. We'll say big blue button. Are y'all able to read that on your end?
We can.
Okay. So, I mean, the font size has to be a little large, you know, but you can zoom in even more than that if you want to. So there is defaults, but then you can also move it left and right, up and down, zoom in a little bit more. If you have a smartphone, you can use this system. It'll take you a little bit of getting used to, just like any smartphone does. But it's a really, really good video conferencing system. I think we could probably use it a lot with our dual enrollment, dual credit, if we could figure out a way on the other end of things to get the high school set up with what they would need, which I really don't think would be all that expensive. But just wanted to make you guys aware that we have this system. We have 2 here, 1 Phil Campbell, and we got more coming. So if you're interested in teaching these video conference courses, then get in touch with me or get in touch with April, and we'll see if we can't figure something out for you. Okay? So that was the first reason that I wanted to have the meeting in here. Well, the only reason I wanted to have it in here. So let's get to the virtual office hours. So I wanted to make sure that everybody was clear on what asynchronous and synchronous means. April sent out the new policy, and I handed y'all out exactly what she sent to us. Ladies, I'm sorry, I should have sent some down there.
Excuse me, Matthew?
Yes.
We can only see the board on both of our screens now. We can't see you.
Gotcha. Thank you. So I forgot to switch it back, so I'm going to go back to default.
Great, thank you.
Are we better now? We good?
Yes,
All right. Thank you. So in the email, she says 1 asynchronous virtual office hour per week per distance course, and then an additional 3 synchronous. So asynchronous means you're emailing, you are remind.com, that type stuff, where you might send a message, you know, Wednesday night at 7, and they respond to it Thursday morning at 8, and then you respond to that message again that Thursday night at 7 o'clock. So that's asynchronous. That's not the same place, not the same time. That's stuff that you're probably already doing anyway, right? So you can have one office hour per week per distance course of that. Now, how they're going to enforce accountability of that you're actually sitting at your computer for a straight hour emailing students, I don't know. But that's the policy. The synchronous is what we're here to talk about today. So synchronous means that you're meeting with them in real time, not necessarily face-to-face, although that's what we're going to try to accomplish, but your real-time communication. So you're either having a chat back and forth where you send a message, they receive it, send it back, reply back and forth, or you actually have like a video conference like similar to what we're doing right now. So for instance, if you're teaching 2 online courses, then that gives you a total of 8 virtual office hours, 8 hours that you can now spend at your house. Okay, so maximum of 6. All right. Oh yeah, it says it right here. Both asynchronous and synchronous should not exceed 6 hours. So no matter how many you're teaching, you have a maximum of 6. So just wanted to make sure that we're all clear on terminology of asynchronous versus synchronous. The big blue button is an example of synchronous office hours. So that's where we're going to be doing kind of a video conference, video chat type deal. If you have an iPhone, it's kind of the same concept as FaceTime, Skype, those type things. So it's where you can see each other's face and you can talk to each other in real time. So I actually I worked with Lauren Wright last week getting this set up in her course, and one thing that was kind of unforeseen that we thought about while we were setting it up is if you're having office hours in your actual office, right, brick and mortar, you're sitting at your desk, then you can say my office hours are from 8 to 10, and students can just drop by anytime between 8 and 10, have a conversation with you, and leave. If another student happens to walk up while you're already with the student, then you can just say, hey, I'm with them, or your door's probably going to be closed and they'll just come back. With Big Blue Button, you're essentially opening up a link to where anybody can come in and join this meeting as long as the link is open. And so that was kind of the biggest problem we foresaw was how are we going to keep, I don't know that this would be a problem, but how are we going to keep a dozen kids from logging on all at the same time and trying to have conversations with you and have tutoring sessions or advising sessions or whatever. So before we actually get into Big Blue Button, we're going to set up a sign-up sheet so that you can have your students go in and say, I'm going to meet with you from 5 to 5:20 or from 6 to 6:30 or whatever kind of time slots you want to set up. But that's the only way that I can think of to eliminate the possibility of you opening up this link and then having multiple students sign on at the same time, and then you're not able to do what you need to do in a one-on-one setting with a student because you have too many people logging on at the same time. All right, so do y'all have my computer screen down there in Phil Campbell now?
Yes. Yes.
Good. Okay. So where to put it in Moodle? This up here, right? All of these are your modules, units that you have. Anything that's up at the very top, it doesn't matter what module I go into. I can go into module 1, and all of this stuff is still going to be up here. So this is where I would put it. That way, no matter what page they're on, it's always going to be there. They don't ever have to search for it. You have your virtual office hours right there, and no matter where they navigate to within your Moodle course, it's always there ready for them to find. So up at the very, very top is where we want to be at. Okay, so like I said, before we go and add the Big Blue Button, we're going to add a sign-up sheet. And what we're going to use for that is this thing right here called a wiki. So it's the second to last activity, right before you get to the resources. It's got this little kind of puzzle piece looking thing here. Okay, so we're going to add a wiki. A wiki is essentially a Google Doc or a shared OneDrive document. So what you're doing here is you're creating a collaborative document between yourself and your students to where anybody in the class can go in and edit this document. All right, so the wiki name, virtual office hours sign up sheet. All right, if you would like, and I would suggest that you do this, in the description, just put something along the lines of, please sign up here in a available time slot to meet with me. Something short and sweet like that. I'm sorry?
Couldn't you just have a group session, like if you wanted to do a...
You could, yeah. You could do everybody log in at this time, and we're going to do a group tutoring session. You can most definitely do that. If you're going to add a description, make sure you click this little box right here that says Display Description on Course Page. Otherwise, your description is not going to show up. Okay, so click there, and that's it as far as this page. So then we go Save and Return. Oh, sorry. This first page name down here, I still haven't found where it goes or where it shows up after you create it. So I've just been putting in weekly sign-up sheet, and it's not been an issue. It's just one of those deals where you can't continue until you've got something in there. All right, so here's my sign-up sheet. Now, all we've actually done right now is created the link for it. We haven't actually created a sign-up sheet, right? So after you go in and name your wiki, you have to click the link, and then down here we're going to click on Create Page. So that's what actually creates the document that you're going to use as your sign-up sheet. Okay, so the adding the activity just adds the link. Okay, so then you have to go into the link and create the page. I didn't come up with these rules, I'm just following them. All right, so now we click on Create Page. Let's say that you're going to do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. So I would have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you want to do 15-minute sessions, so you can divide each one of these up into 15-minute sessions, or however you want to do it. Let's just go all the way to 6. So 5:45.
Hey, one thing I've had to do in the past when doing this, Matthew, is I've had to put instructions up there. Do not, 2 people do not need to sign up for the same time.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't delete anyone because they'll go in and overwrite somebody else's time.
That was, there's 2 things that we're going to talk about later. That was one of them. I would definitely mention that in writing, and also I would probably make a screencast video and explain to them how to actually use the sign-up sheet and how to actually use Big Blue Button. So that was another thing that we're going to talk about towards the end. I haven't come up with a way to get around them doing that. But it's definitely something that could be an issue. So now we've got our days and our time slots off. We save this, and let's go back to the home page. So this is the part where I say you probably would be best off to record a little screencast video, because from your student's perspective, when they go in, there are a couple of things that they're going to have to click. Okay, so we've switched it to student view now, so this is what the student's going to see. They click on the sign-up sheet, and it takes them by default to view it. Okay, so they're actually going to have to click on this tab to be able to do anything with it. If you don't tell them that, they're not going to use it, or they're going to complain, send you emails. Y'all know exactly what will happen in that circumstance. So I would make a short little video. It probably wouldn't need to be more than about 2 minutes long, and just take them through, click here, click on edit, and now we can come in and Joe Bob can sign up for the first one, and Jane, Bob for the next one, so on and so forth. Okay. So if you come up with a better way or a better activity or resource to use for the sign-up sheet part of this, to kind of remedy the fact that you're going to have possibly multiple people signing on at once, then holler at me and let me know what you come up with so I can share it with other people. So that's the sign-up sheet. Now, let's go back to the home page and let's add our big blue button activity. Again, I would put it right up here, right beside your sign-up sheet. So you go back to this same place, the add an activity or resource. And you want to add a big blue button, whatever the BN stands for, I'm not really sure. Excuse me. Okay, so we add the big blue button activity. Make sure I'm not skipping over anything I wanted to talk about. So name it virtual office hours. Then I would click on this show more button. There's one other setting that I would probably do here, and that is wait for moderator. What that does is it disables the link until you access the link. Otherwise, there's a possibility that students could just go into this link and have their own little private Google Hangout Skype session. I don't think that something like that would happen, but you never know. This way, if we click on wait for moderator, they can't access the link until you have already accessed the link and activated it to allow them to come in. So I would definitely click on that.
What if you access the link and you're conducting your session and then your internet goes down at your house, but everybody else is still, your students are still on it? I mean, will they be able to like continue talking and conversing without you having access?
I think the way that it works when you do that is that they have to wait for you to activate the link. Once you have, then they're in there, then you're good. So if your internet connection was to drop, then they would all be still in the room, and then you could go back and log back in and rejoin the session in progress. I believe that's how that would work. There's other options down here you could do. You know, if you want to restrict it even more to only allow them to join in certain times, then you could do that here. Okay, so now we've got our big blue button and our sign-up sheet right beside each other. And again, no matter what module or where in the Moodle course that I navigate to, this is always going to be up at the very top. Okay, so going into the big blue button session, the first time that you access big blue button, or the first time that you access the link, you're probably going to get a puzzle piece. Yep, there it is right there. I couldn't remember if I had went here or not. And your students are going to get this same thing. Okay, so again, with training them how to do their stuff, I would probably make a video, either a separate video or just add this on to the other video, take them through the sign-up sheet, take them through logging into Big Blue Button, and show them all of this stuff that they're going to see and all the stuff that they're going to encounter. That way, you know, they can't come back and say, well, I didn't know how, or you didn't tell me, and they're not going to struggle with it. So click to enable Adobe Flash. So you just click the puzzle piece and then click Allow. It's going to ask you how you want to connect to the session, whether you want to use your microphone or just listen. You definitely want to click on the microphone. And that's another thing. Let me back up a little bit. If you're going to conduct virtual office hours, you're going to need a minimum of a webcam and a microphone. Now, most webcams have microphones built into them, so you could probably get away with just buying a webcam and not the microphone. Most laptops have webcams and microphones built into them. I will say though, what I found in my experience is that the built-in mics on laptops are awful. And on the other end of things, your students are going to be getting a real scratchy, crackly type audio feed, and that's going to, discourage them from wanting to meet with you again. So you can get a headphone set with a mic on it for like 10, 15 bucks on Amazon. So that's what I would recommend doing if you're going to do this, is just get one of those little cheap headsets with a microphone. Eventually, we're going to provide you with those things that will be of better quality than that. But in the meantime, I would go with one of the headset wraparound mics. Okay, so you click on, you want to join the audio with your microphone. And then again, you're going to have a lot of these little dialog boxes pop up. So if you get to a point where you're clicking around and you're like, I don't know what's wrong, it's locked up, look in all the corners and see if there's something that's popped up that's asking you to allow something, because that's probably what's happened. So we allow that. You should hear an echo. Okay, so if your mic is working, you're going to hear this echo. So we say yes. We hear the echo. Our microphone is working. Okay, so now I'm in the conference and I'm the only person in the conference. That's what the lady just said. Again, if you're going to conduct virtual office hours, I think you're doing a disservice to yourself and your students if you don't share your webcam with them. That's, to me, kind of the biggest part about doing this is you have an opportunity to build a relationship with your online students that you otherwise would not have, right? They have an opportunity to talk to you face to face, see you, hear your voice, get to know you a little bit. So if you're going to do it, I would go ahead and share my webcam with them. That's just my advice. So how do we do that? Once you're in the Big Blue Button session, right up here you see a little icon of a camcorder, and if you hover over it, it says share your webcam. Okay, so we click here, and again we've got all these dialog boxes popping up. So just know that most of the things that you do is going to pop up and say you need to allow this. So just always look out for those. So we want to allow the computer and then another one and the browser to access my webcam. Okay, so you see here's my webcam. I've got it pointed at you guys. So we start sharing. All right, now what you see up here is exactly what the student's going to see. This is the default display that Big Blue Button has. I would probably change it, right? If all we're going to be doing is talking and possibly chatting, because a lot of your students are probably not going to feel comfortable sharing their webcam, even though that you're sharing yours. If that's all we're going to be doing, we don't need this middle section here that's intended for like a PowerPoint presentation to go across the screen. So, and then I'm going to be all small over here, and we've got all this wasted space. So change your display option right down here in the bottom right-hand corner. See, right now it says default layout. Okay, so if you click on this little arrow, it gives you several different options. What I would probably use would be either the video chat or the webcam meeting. If you know going into it that this is a student that is going to be sharing their webcam with you and you don't have any kind of tutoring to do or any certain document that you want to look at, then just do video chat and it'll be just like a FaceTime call on your iPhone where you're just sitting there talking with your student, and that's it. If you pretty much know that you're going to be sharing your webcam but they're not going to be sharing theirs, then how do they communicate with you? Well, they can hear you and they can see you, but the only way that they can communicate with you is either through their microphone or through chatting, right? So the webcam deal, well, let me pull that back up. has your webcam bigger here on the left-hand side. Then you've got your chat function right here where they can chat with you. You can also share documents with them if you want to. So maybe if it's an advising session and you want to pull up their program of study or something like that, then you could do that right there. Or if it's a tutoring session and you wanted to pull up maybe a PDF file of solutions or example problems, things of that nature, then you can share that document with them right there. So to do that, in this window, you see we've got 3 separate windows here. Webcam window, chat window, presentation window. Okay, so in the presentation window, if I wanted to share a document, you click on this little cloud icon here, and then you can just browse your computer and add any file there that you want to add and share that with them. Now, if you're not going to be sharing any documents, then you can, any one of these windows can be minimized. All right, so I would probably minimize that, make that a little bit bigger maybe. Changing all your layouts is not going to matter unless you push that layout to your students, right? Right now, I'm seeing this, but my student is still seeing the default layout that we originally started with. So right beside the layouts here, where you've got this menu, I don't know if y'all can see this. Let me. Okay, y'all see this little arrow right here? Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay. Right beside where all the layouts are, you click on this. Your layout has been sent to all participants. So you can control what their display looks like. So get it the way that you want it to be, but then make sure that you click that little arrow. Otherwise, they're just going to get that default layout. You can, if you want to, also share your screen, right? So if you were going to be looking at something on a website or maybe something on the Moodle page, something of that nature, then right beside where you went to share your webcam, you have your share your screen option. It's going to be the same steps there. You click on it, it's going to ask you to allow a bunch of stuff, and then you'll be good to go. And then it will just mirror whatever you have on your screen to them, similar to what we have going on right now where they can see my computer screen. Okay, questions on setting up Big Blue Button or any kind of options that we checked here? All right.
Is there any kind of download that they might have to do before Big Blue Button will work, like update their Flash player or anything like that?
That would be the only thing. That doesn't have caller ID. That would be the only thing that I would see happening. On the first screen there, I had that puzzle piece that said click to allow Adobe Flash. If they don't have Adobe Flash, then that screen will probably send them to another screen where they have to download it. I really, really doubt that anybody's going to not have Adobe Flash. You kind of have to have that for everything. That would be the only software that I could see them having to download, though. But Adobe Flash is one of those deals where it's going to take you to a site, and it's going to have an install wizard, and you're going to have to click next, 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 finish, and hopefully they will be okay with that. Yes. There is, on Google Chrome, there's an issue, WebRTC audio, if you want to just write those letters down, WebRTC. If you get that error message, contact me or April and we can help you with it. I don't remember off the top of my head how they said to fix it, but it's something specific with Google Chrome that happens from time to time with the audio. So if you get an error message that says WebRTC audio, just call one of us and we can get it fixed for you. It's something in the settings. I don't remember.
Is there a browser that's more recommended than Google Chrome?
No, they do recommend Google Chrome. It's just an issue that happens from time to time with it, but it's something that can be changed in the settings very easily to fix it. I just don't remember offhand exactly how to go in and fix that problem. But if I remember correctly, they did say Google Chrome was the recommended browser. I would think probably Chrome or Firefox, either one would be fine though. I know it's compatible with all those. So that's really basically it. You know, in terms of technical issues, I feel like the vast majority of technical issues that your students would have with this is going to be actually signing up on the sign-up sheet and then getting logged into the session for the first time. So if you will go and create just a 2 or 3 minute walkthrough video for them and just go into the Moodle course and say, click here, click here, click here, and show them exactly how to access this, then I think you probably would be good to go with technical issues.
2 or 3 minutes probably save you an hour and a half.
Exactly. In the grand scheme of things, exactly.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
If that's something that we wanted to do to have that recorded, will we just schedule that with you?
Sure.
Do that?
Yeah. And actually, the recording room is in this building now. It was over in 127 in the conference room, but just where it was, there was too much background noise going on. Right over here, I think it's room 151, environmental something. There's a little closet on the side of that room, so it's actually 151A, I believe. But broadcasting must have done something in there before because they've got one of the walls painted as a green screen. So I've recorded in there several times already, and I haven't run into any outside noises or anything. So yeah, if you want to record one of those, just holler at me and I can help you do that. Okay.
Are the steps to access the sign-up sheet and the big blue button going to be uniform for all of us?
Yes.
Okay, is there any reason why you can't make the video instead of all of us scheduling separate times to go in and make a video? Is there any reason why we can't have a link to a video just showing how to use it?
I had thought about doing that actually. I didn't know. I probably will because it really wouldn't take me very long to do it.
Well, you it's going to be really easy to do.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about you doing that.
Well, I mean, as long as you have this setup, you know, with the wiki and the big blue button, then it'll be uniform all the way through. Some people probably won't want to use the video that I do, but I mean, it'll probably take me much less time than it would y'all to do it. So yeah.
Well, we don't have to schedule times, and we don't have to come over. And
Right.
we don't have-
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be happy to do that, and I'll send it out. And if you want to use it, great. And if you don't, then do your own. That'll be good. Ladies and Phil Campbell, y'all have any questions, comments, concerns?
I do, Matthew. How would you recommend if I were using this and I wanted a student to see me working a problem on a piece of paper?
Let me go back in here. There is this whiteboard option that's built in. So here's your built-in whiteboard feature. So you can, you know, write all over here. To actually work problems out, what you would do is you would create a PowerPoint presentation with a couple of blank slides, and then you would add that. Actually, they might have that in there for you already. Yeah, so they've got blank slides in there already. It's just a matter of how are you going to actually write this. You know, you can't effectively work problems writing with your mouse. So you would have to have some sort of way to write. Now, if you had like a Surface or an iPad with a pen, then there's your problem solved. You just access Big Blue Button with your Surface or with your iPad Pro or whatever the iPad is that has the pencil that goes along with it, and then you can write all day long, work all your problems, and do everything from your one device.